Okay, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, Father and Son News Show. How you doing, Dad?
Yeah, doing good, good.
Back for a new season.
Yes, good to be back.
Yes, absolutely. And there is no shortage of things to talk about.
Right.
That is definitely for sure.
I thought when Trump was gone, what were we going to talk about? we still got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, still got a lot to talk about. I know that it's not on the docket, but you mentioned him. So, is he going to run again? Are we going to have to see him again with regards to being in the office?
I don't think so. Even though what's going on now makes it appear that he's probably happy and thinking he can run again, but I don't think politics, things happen. This little blip we're going through now will be forgotten.
Yeah.
But I don't think so.
Yeah. So we have Afghanistan, the what do they call it? The endless war.
Yeah.
20 years we've been in Afghanistan.
Wow.
So if you could think back to 9/11, coming up on 9/11 now,
right.
9/11. Did you think that it was a possibility that we could have some type of an engagement that we're in for 20 years?
No.
Yeah.
Nobody even thought about anything like that.
Yeah.
20 years. Well, I was a young man then. 20 years. No.
Should we have been there?
We should have gone in there and, gotten bin Laden and got out.
Right.
We shouldn't have been there trying to do nation building. How you gonna build? How you gonna do nation building? Did you see this nation? I mean, do you see the turmoil that we have here?
Yeah.
Please. I mean.
Yeah.
No. Absolutely not.
And absolutely. So the mission was completed a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but here's the thing with the United States, America. This is their history, and it may be the history of people. Period. But I mean, Donald Rumsfeld, when they went into Afghanistan and when they went into Iraq, they asked him, "Well, how are we gonna get out?"
Right.
He said, "That's not my job. My job is to get us in here. They'll figure it out." And that's that mindset. That's the mindset, and that's the mindset it's been. I mean, if we go back to slavery, they just passed the buck. Well, the next generation, they'll figure it out how to deal with the black people, Africans, slavery. They keep passing the buck, and chicken's gonna come home to roost though.
So 20 years, all this money, a lot of money spent.
$2 trillion, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and when you look at the arguments that they have in Congress over infrastructure, over social programs, I mean, they are really arguing, Republicans, on spending any money on Americans. But this is endless money, endless war. They just throwing money around for the.
Yeah, well, they spend money on what they want to spend money on. Donald Trump, the deficit went up. I think when Obama was left out, it was in the high teens. It's like 27 billion. It's gone up tremendously since Donald Trump has been in.
Yeah.
And so they just, whatever they want to do, they spend it on, and then they print the money.
Right.
So
right.
It's
so what's really ironic, hypocritical that I see now, some of the same people that were praising Trump for signing the deal or having Pompeo sign the deal with regards to pulling out of Afghanistan are now, coming down on President Biden for one, withdrawing, and then two, the way that he's withdrawing. Do you see any issue with us pulling out of Afghanistan now, and then how we're pulling out?
Well, I mean, it was never going to be easy,
right?
To pull out 20 years of war. And I think that I was reading, they talked about if they had tried to do it earlier, it would have created chaos in the country. The people would have been, it had been chaos. So any way they did it, it was going to be chaos. Donald Trump said, they negotiated this for what, May? It's supposed to be May
May 1st,
21. Yeah, May. Yeah,
right.
And then they extended it to August 31st. And Trump, of course, said, "I told him if they did anything, I would bomb them." So he talked. So if he did that, it's going to be chaos.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be chaos. So anyway. It was going to be a chaotic departure,
right?
And so I think that it looks real bad now, but it's going to settle down.
I mean, when you see some of those images, it really people have been mentioning Saigon, and the folks, I guess, that are younger than me that don't really know what that is. You had the helicopters pulling off. And you had people, trying to jump on there, but very similar to what we've been seeing. But this may be worse as far as more people doing it. And they've said that some guy was caught up in the landing gear or something. One of the planes. And
well, and at the end of the war in Vietnam, it was the same thing, except you didn't have 24-hour news, you didn't have internet, and so you couldn't see.
So it seemed like it wasn't as bad.
Right. Yeah. It was disastrous. Listen, I don't know when the last war America won. I mean, Vietnam, go to the Korean War. They got out of there too. I mean, so,
the World War II, I guess.
Yeah. Well, World War II.
We lost the war on drugs.
Yeah. Right.
So you consider this to be a loss for America?
No. It was they achieved the objective. It was to prevent people from trying to bomb America, and create international chaos, even though we got domestic chaos. But the image of America as being a world leader and of democracy, I mean, that's being tarnished right now without question. And Russia and China, especially, just laying back and looking.
Yeah. To me, the result's going to always be this: when you go in another country and try to just have your way with people.
Yeah.
Depending on the size of that country, unless you're ready to fully commit and blow the place off the map, which we're not going to do. You're gonna have this type of result, whether it's Vietnam, whether it's Afghanistan, any of these countries they think they can just go in and bully around.
Right.
That's what's gonna happen.
Right. No question. And then and they know it was difficult. That's why they've been there for 20 years.
What so you hear now. I was a baby at the time, so I don't remember hearing this. I remember seeing video images later, but was it all this talk about translators in Vietnam? Like, we got to get out of Vietnamese translators or the people that helped us. Was it that much of a focus on?
Not for the public to hear, but
okay.
But we have we brought a lot of Vietnamese came over to the United States, but like I'm saying, you had 24-hour news. You didn't have the internet. You didn't have the cameras taking pictures, and so we didn't know. They could tell the American people anything they wanted, and but
they
now
probably liked it better like that.
Yeah, well, yeah. But now it's very difficult to hide things. Very difficult. So
yeah. And so whatever happens, the president gets the buck stops with the president, and that is something that Trump never said.
Well, you're right.
But Biden, let's say this, before the election happened, when the campaigning was going on, we were hard on Biden. We were hard on Biden, but Biden ended up being the winner. And we definitely wanted Biden over Trump. What type of job do you think Biden has done thus far? I know it's only 7 months or so.
Well, no, he's done a much better job than the last guy.
Yeah,
that was in office, without
definitely.
question. And it's a difficult job. I mean, he's got a divided country.
Literally divided.
This is the divided states of America, without question. And so he's got a hard job, and he is doing the opposite of Trump because he's trying to unite the country. Yeah. Trump was content with dividing it and keeping it divided. So he's going to get a negative rap for a couple of weeks, Biden, based on what's going on now. And if he can get it, if they can smooth things out and get it a little bit more organized and get a little bit more cooperation, it'll dissipate.
So this is just part of the news cycle right now.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. I
respected the fact that he doubled down on this and he did not buckle under the pressure. And it was a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. And then he has to look at those films and question himself. But but then he says, what else can we do? We got to get out of here no matter what we did. If we go do what Donald Trump said, if y'all mess with us or don't do what we want, we'll bomb it. You're gonna be back entrenched there.
Absolutely.
So that's just a lot of talk from Donald Trump. That's all he does anyway. So it was going to be chaotic no matter who was in office. And I think it was very foresighted and very presidential for him to say, I didn't want to pass this on to a fifth president.
Yeah, very, very, very much so. And like you said, he's been taking a lot of flack, but I think that this has shown strength.
Mm-hmm.
When the going gets tough, the tough got to get going, and this is a very tough situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's getting pressure from both sides. A lot of people with different thoughts on this, but the Taliban taking control of this country in the long run, does that create the same scenario that we had before as far as a place where enemies of America could be harbored?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a difficult situation because our embassy is gone.
Right.
China's embassy is there. Russia's embassy is there. China wants to do business with them. So,
which is going to prop them up even more.
Right. And so, this is a big deal because it's not just domestic, people looking. This is worldwide, the whole world.
Right. Because some people in the world don't pay attention to what goes on here. But I mean, I've seen Republicans that are, fake outraged, more outraged about the debacle, the exit of people from Afghanistan, citizens, naturalized citizens, people who's gonna come over, whatever, than they were with the Capitol attack.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's backwards to me.
Oh, yeah, please.
It's so backwards, and it's just mind blowing. I mean, I guess that's politics. Playing both sides of the coin there. So we have Afghanistan, we have that, the president speaking to people and owning it, talking about, and we knew that he wanted to do this. This was no surprise about this.
Right.
What is there's so many things that we talk about in hip hop. We talk about people taking an L, right? The L is for a loss. Like, you get a W or you get the L. So we say such and such, you got to take this L. Like, you got to hold this L, this loss, right? We're there for 20 years. And there's supposed to be training, the Afghan soldiers. And I think that ROTC at my high school could have done with guns the same job that these trained Afghan soldiers did. I mean, they didn't do any fighting. the turnover to the Taliban was so quick. After 20 years, I mean, it just seems like the shame of this loss is greater. We're gonna see it down the line. I mean, we supposedly train these people, giving them weapons that they turned over to the Taliban. The Taliban has all those weapons that they left there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that we're going to end up having to deal with a lot of this stuff that our training was supposed to accomplish against us, against our soldiers or our citizens, anything.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, you might listen. The war was lost politically. If the people weren't motivated to want to galvanize around what you wanted to do, they didn't want to become Americanized. They didn't want.
No, they didn't.
They didn't
you can see that because they know what they're going to get with the Taliban, and they say it's not even worth fighting over because the Taliban is obviously stronger. And
the history goes back thousands of years. This is tradition. This is how we live. As far as the Taliban, this is how we live, and this is what we're going to do.
Right.
And this, I remember when a lot of people might not remember, but the Shah of Iran. This is
70, late 70s.
Yeah, when he was dethroned. Here's a guy who had been educated in the United States and Europe, and he was sophisticated, and he wanted to bring that Western society to Iran.
And they was not having that.
They weren't ready for that. I mean, that's not.
And this is in the 70s.
Yeah, and then that's that. But he understood it, but it takes time, So they didn't adopt that.
But now we're.
And it's the same.
40 years later,
and it's the same mentality.
Yeah,
the United States was trying to inculcate this democracy into Afghanistan in 20 years, and you see how far they got. 11 days after they left,
right?
It's over.
It's over.
No, and it's
but
not,
in some instances there was no fighting at all. They just here.
No,
here we good. We don't want no trouble
because they know they're going to lose. Because the only reason that they were successful for 20 years because the Americans were back. Right. First we were doing all the fighting. That's when we started losing people.
Soldiers, yeah.
Then Afghanistan started fighting, and we were in the back. We were still backing them up. And then when it's just like when your backup leaves, you say, "Oh my, I ain't got no back." No, never mind.
That's why Suge Knight was getting knocked out because all his backup left.
Right. And then they didn't really understand it and this democracy kind of a thing, and
so that's why the conversation is about the women politicians and the women doctors and all of the modern advancements that they've made. They want to get those ladies out of there because they've been exposed to the American Western way of thinking that they're not going to want to go back to what the Taliban is going to say. Ladies can't do this and can't do that.
Right.
So it's going to be.
And then even here in the United States, they talk about people don't. They live in little subcultures, Mexicans or Iranian. This is Spanish town. This is, so they haven't adapted to this American society that white people, say this is America, and so people don't accept it. And
so we're going to have a lot of immigration, all over the world, but a lot of Afghans are going to be coming to America.
You're gonna have close to 100,000, 80,000, and of course the a lot of the Republicans are saying they try to use this to get votes. They're trying to get more votes.
These Afghans are going to become Democrats
because Biden brought them in, and no, Trump brought them in.
Yeah, Trump. Wow.
So, yeah.
Bush really brought them in indirectly.
Right.
That's funny. And so when you talk about this happening, it has dominated the news cycle for the last few days, but you don't have this happening, and I would have to think that Haiti becomes a topic that's at the forefront more than it was if this debacle in Afghanistan wasn't happening right at this moment.
Possibly.
So they have the earthquake. Death toll is nearly at 2,000, and
it's going to be much more than that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because the last one, in 2010, it was 200,000.
Right,
and this was a stronger earthquake.
Right. What you have? Even since I was a young man, talked about Haiti. Talk about Haiti a little bit.
Haiti, yeah, Haiti is a remarkable story about Haiti. I mean, if you think about Haiti, here is a island, what 10, 11 million people on that island now, but they drove the French out. But what was horrible about it, the French and all the other slave countries, including the United States, were so humiliated, and the Haitians, to maintain their sovereignty and their independence, had to pay France in 1825 $21 billion.
This is like in money that they lost.
Yeah, so they had to pay. They took them 122 years to pay off that debt. 1947, they supposed to pay. They've been impoverished this country. No country on earth has ever had to do anything like that. They had, but here's the thing: they didn't pay France. They paid reparations to the slaveholders' loss.
Right.
Slaves paid reparations.
Right. I mean, that's just, and it continues though.
Yeah, I mean, nobody will do this with them because that's Haiti. Haiti, they did this and this, and because you're doing business with the world, so you got white countries and Germany and France. I mean, and all of them were involved in slavery, and so they all
colonizers.
Yeah, yes. All of them. So they shunned them, and so this is the reason that. That's why when people talk about Haiti is poor, this and that, you have to understand what happened to Haiti. And we're only talking about a tiny country trying to build itself up from nowhere. No, it's horrible about Haiti. And this earthquake is just devastating. It's just devastating. And we got my son-in-law from Haiti,
right?
And right. So yeah, it's devastating.
So there are a lot of organizations that are trying to help with regards to the repercussions and the effects of this disaster, this earthquake that they have. The CARE is a non-governmental organization in Haiti that has an emergency response team delivering supplies to people affected by that. So you can donate cash or care packages to them. The Family Action Network Movement Organization, they are accepting medical supplies and over-the-counter medicines, water cases, non-perishables, food, personal protective equipment. You can also donate money there. And there are just a lot of organizations trying to help. But I don't think that there's enough focus on Haiti. And you obviously laid out some of the reasons why countries shun Haiti. Mm-hmm. It's just this stigma that in many instances I feel is even worse than African Americans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're right. I agree with you wholeheartedly, and it's really a I mean, if they did a movie about Haiti, it'd be a tremendous story. I mean, because these were people, they brought slaves to Haiti just like they did here. And I think at one time they had 500,000 slaves and maybe 30 500,000 white people that was trying to control the 500,000, and that's part of the problem that they had. They were outnumbered,
big time.
They were outnumbered, and another thing in Haiti, they maintain a real strong African tradition and a new tradition, because they weren't in Africa, but they were, their offspring didn't know anything about Africa, but the parents taught them, and so it was and this is where they tried to Christianize them, and Christianity, and then voodoo got in. It's a remarkable story. It's a remarkable story.
The Western playbook never changes.
Yeah.
If you look at Afghanistan, it's very similar. Not the slavery part, but they try to some people take to that and some people don't. So that's what that is. So we breezed through our time and our topics. So we are back, father and son.
Yes. Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah. So Wednesdays, I'm glad people were asking, what was going on. They've been seeing you exercising and
trying to get in shape for father and son.
What's the motivation? Like, what keeps you motivated to do that? Because you are in your golden years, but you are moving around more than somebody younger than me. Like, what gets you? How do you do this?
I don't like the feeling that I have. At 72, it's old, and so if you don't jump on it early, as I've always tell you, if you don't jump on it early, it will sneak up on you, and you're gonna wake up one day and you say, "Man, my back hurt, my leg, I can't." No, you got to keep moving and stay ahead of it. Me and a friend of mine, Travis, made a pact 30, 40 years ago. We said that, and it was our little saying, he said, we're not going to go down without a fight.
Right.
And so I'm, and like I tell you, not that I don't know how long I'm going to live, but I just know that I want to be able to continue to do all the things that I've been doing all my life, bending down, picking up my money, driving, running, doing. I don't want to have to change. So I had to stay on top and keep building muscle.
Right.
Right. Because as we get older, we automatically lose muscle.
Yeah, that's just a natural thing.
Yeah, I mean, in your 40s, you lose about 12% of the muscle you had in your 20s, and in your 50s, you done lost about 24%. That's why you'll see people, women or men, this is sagging, muscle loss. It's gonna go unless you rebuild muscle. You're gonna lose it automatically. You gotta keep trying to rebuild muscle mass, and so that's all over the body. So that's keeps me going, because I want to stay. I gotta keep up with you. I got my grandkids, and so I want to stay ready, sharp, alert.
and you're doing an amazing job. People call me. Guys will say, "Hey man, your father's doing it." Like they're motivated.
Yeah.
Just watching your videos, and they'll say that they feel like they're exercising by watching you. But I tell them that you're not really exercising. You actually have to do it.
Yeah.
Just watching. Yeah. This ain't a this is a contact sport. You can't just participate by on your phone.
And and the main thing about it is that the more you do it, the stronger you get. Because I'm stronger now than I've ever been, and your mother is getting stronger and stronger.
I was seeing her doing pull-ups and
right,
stuff.
And so and she didn't think she could do them, and that's a lot of that's part of the problem. People look and say I'm doing this. Again, you can do it. But the thing, you never tried. You never tried to do it, and and Dwayne, communicating with your body, meaning that a weightlifter, he'll keep lifting weights over and over and over, and then the body starts to realize, oh, you're trying to bulk up. But that's everything. All you gotta do is keep doing something over and over, and the body will listen to you. Like this guy was just calling the phone, Henry Campbell. He's calling about arthritis because he got arthritis, and I'm gonna work with him with arthritis. But you can you just got to go on thesebabyboomers.com and see what it is you can do. But you don't have to be a couch potato or just lay around. You can stay active and do all the things you've been doing at 70 as you did when you're 50.
And you're a living testament to that. Yeah. Definitely. We will be back next week, Wednesday.
Yes.
6 p.m.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
RadioOnFire.com, of course. You can catch past episodes on Radio on Fire. Also, YouTube.com/DJ Diamond K. On Facebook, Radio on Fire. Dad, how can people follow you and stay in touch with you and get involved?
Oh yeah, so go to D's, just the letter D, the word baby boomers, thesebabyboomers.com, and just go and you can do that. thesebabyboomers.com.
All right, that's what it is. Thank you, Dad, as always, and we will be back next week.
Okay.